Oh my word, it's been a while. I'm not sure I even remember how to move clubs at this point. Everything was so settled in my old office, but we're done with Burton and we are off to Germany because I am the new manager of Borussia Dortmund. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 1 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we are going to get settled in to life here in Germany at Borussia Dortmund. We're going to have a look around the squad. We're going to play our first game. We're going to come up with some plans. But before any of that, we need to find somewhere to live. And that, of course, means heading to a non-specific mortgage calculator, which suggests we can borrow up to £11 million based on our salary. There were people off the back of Friday's episode who were a little bit worried that maybe I'd struggle taking a pay cut. £11 million. I don't know what that is in German money. Bear with me. It's nearly 13 million euros. That feels like that's probably enough to buy something quite nice. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to buy that quite nice thing on my normal website, Rightmove, because they don't have any properties in Dortmund currently. So I've searched properties in Dortmund. That's taken me to FM24, who, when I put in Dortmund and then don't set any other parameters, gives me 3 houses. So obviously we're going to pick the most expensive one because we are fancy. We're not going to be able to spend anywhere near our 13 million euros, but for 3 million euros, we can get this villa in Dortmund, a modern villa in a prestigious area of Dortmund. It does look lovely. Money goes a long way in Germany, doesn't it? Landscaping of the residential property includes a marble floor, underfloor heating, fireplace, fitted kitchen, sauna, air conditioning, balcony cellar, utility room, wine cellar, guest toilet. No mention of a toilet for me. There is a toilet. There better be a toilet for me, and a terrace and a garden. Do we have a floor plan? We don't have a floor plan, but I mean, it's in the vague location of Dortmund because it's come up when we've typed in Dortmund. It says WC 100. That doesn't mean there's 100 toilets. Does it? Does WC mean the same thing in Germany as it does in England? It can't do, surely. Oh, we're not going to be able to get... Can we get a bigger version of this? Let's have it. Oh, there you go. A nice big version. I mean, it's a little blurry. Could we not get some high-resolution photographs? I mean, full disclosure, I'm looking at this before I've left for Germany. The office might look familiar. So I guess it loses some of its resolution travelling over the water or by air, maybe. What's the easiest way to get to Germany? But we've got plenty of outdoor seating. Before we've even set foot in the house, as we all know, the true sign of wealth is chairs, and we must have a dozen chairs in the garden. I think there's a 6-chair set there behind that bush. There's a bench that could fit at least 2 people on there. We've got a sun lounger with its own, sun lounger, but something to block out the sun. There's another 6 chairs there. I think we've got another lounger over there. I like the fact that the 2 loungers are separated by an entire... it looks like a carport. It's separated by an entire carport, so if you don't get on with who you live with, you can just sit miles away from them and never converse. But there's plenty of chairs before you even go inside the kitchen. I mean, where's the mic? Is that a microwave? There's plenty of room to stick the air fryer on the worktops, and that's the important thing. We've got 2 doors. I mean, I know we're going about chairs a lot, but when your front door is actually your front doors, that's another sign that you've probably made it. There's you look at it from the front. Lot of windows on this place. Chairs pointing at absolutely nothing. Completely white room, other than the fact they've got an old-fashioned telephone in here for some reason. But we do have chairs just kind of pointing at these footstools. I guess you put the servants on the footstools, and then me as the master of the property sits on the chairs and just glares at the servants until they go and get me some more furniture. Presumably that's... I don't know what other explanation there'd be for this setup. There's another sofa in that room. We've then got a bed with 2 duvets. These two, the people who live here at the moment, genuinely hate each other, don't they? Their sun loungers are miles apart. They've got separate duvets. This is not a happy marriage. That's probably why they're selling the house. We've got some horns in the living room, more chairs as well. Is there any tellies in here? There's a big staircase, further proof that, they've probably got, that's a window each because they hate each other. We've got our own windows, our own set of curtains as well. I think that's a double sink situation. There's certainly 2 mirrors, unless even if that's another mirror in the middle and it's just mirroring back, it's still 2 mirrors. It's a fence, and they've got their table set in the garden. These people are maniacs, but this will do. I'll take this. This is where I'm going to live throughout my time here in Germany. Very nice little house. Jolly good. Now I suppose I should focus on managing the football team, which is probably going to be a trickier job than finding a house was, because that was relatively easy based on how long it's taken me in some jobs in the past. But we are, what is this, a 34 game season? So we're a little over a third of the way through, and we find ourselves down in 8th place, 17 points on the board, only 3 points outside of the top 6, 6 points outside of the top 4. That's where Bayern are in 4th place, 10 points off the top of the league. We're not going to win the league this year, obviously. Who qualifies for Europe, though? So top 3 automatically go through. 4th place depends on the winner of the Europa League. Okay, that's interesting. So I guess if a German team wins the Europa League, only the top 3 from the league go in. Is that the opposite of how it works in England? So there's always going to be at least 4 German teams in the Champions League, but they might not all come from the league. There's no option to get that 5th or sometimes even a 6th one that you can get in England. But that being said, there is still top 7 all get into Europe of some flavour. We've got a few different Europa League spots in there. UEFA Europa Conference League for 7th place, and then relegation-wise, I mean, we don't need to worry about this, but 3rd from bottom goes into relegation playoff. There's a huge amount of prize money as well. I mean, the difference between finishing 8th, where we are at the moment, 50 million in prize money, and first, 92 million pounds worth of prize money is insane. That's more prize money than you get in the Premier League. But remembering previous trips to Germany, I think the reason the prize money is higher is because there's not like a flat bunch of TV money that comes through. I think it is very much a meritocracy over here, and you don't just get participation cash. It's all based on how well you actually do. So there is that incentive for us to finish as high up the league table as we possibly can this year, not just because of the extra prize money it gives us this year, but because if we can get into that top 4, we get ourselves into the Champions League, and there's a lot of extra money through the league as well. And although we're doing fine for cash at the moment, 170 million pounds is our balance, and our cash projection based on how things are at the moment is looking okay. They've also given me over 200 million pounds to spend. So if I spend all of that in January, and I'm going to spend it all in January, we immediately go overdrawn, and these projections start to look terrifying. We're doing okay for I say okay, we're doing phenomenally well for FFP. We can spend that 209 million pounds and then do it again in the summer and still be fine for FFP. We are going to spend some cash here at Dortmund, but we do need to work out what we're going to spend the cash on. If we have a look at who our best players are, this guy is our best player, Julian Carrier, who is a right winger or attacking midfielder or central midfielder. So already starting to get an indication of how we might end up playing. We're going to, at the very least, have a system that involves some wingers. I mean, with how quick this guy is he's a left footer, he's an inside forward on the right. I don't care what else we do. He's playing on the right-hand side as an inside forward, because he's very, very fast and he's a good finisher. He'll score goals. I mean, he has scored goals previously. How he hasn't been doing the goals this year, I'm not quite sure. Our next best player is your winger on the other side, Alfonso Moreira. Only 3 caps for Portugal at 26 years old, but I mean, that just must mean Portugal have got an abundance of talent in that area, because price-wise, this guy is worth an absolute fortune. And again, has been a very solid performer for us. I mean, these two boys have posted some pretty decent average ratings this season. For a team that's performed as poorly as it has, those two have definitely done their bit. So it suggests the problems are probably elsewhere in this team. We've then got Nico Schlotterbeck, who is at Dortmund in real life, I think. 31 years old, 6'3". Yeah, there you go. Signed from Freiburg in 22-20 at the start of the 22-23 season. Big 6'3" defender, 31 years old. So obviously he's going to need replacing at some point. But I mean, just that kind of salary, it's another world from where we were with Burton. I think he's probably our highest paid player, but we have also got Karim Adeyemi, who's earning a lot of money, and of course is a real life Dortmund player as well. And I guess he's going to be the third part of that attack, although it looks like he's not quite turned into the world beater that I guess we would have hoped that he would turn into. And there is interest in him from Al Hilal, and I'm kind of tempted with that kind of salary for a guy who's only a 3-star player. and doesn't ever get into double figures for goals. I mean, are they playing him out wide? And if they are, he's a backup because of who we've already got in the wide areas. And if he's playing as the centre forward, he doesn't score enough goals. So I'm happy to help him out the door. We have got Bruno Herrera, who is another winger. We've got a lot of wingers. Do we actually have anyone who's a striker? I mean, maybe we'll actually be leaning towards Carrera playing there as a shadow striker rather than playing on the right-hand side, which does push us towards a 4-2-3-1. But, you know, sometimes these things are out of my control. What do you expect me to do with the squad that I've been given? I know, Kev, don't do a 4-2-3-1. How? Look at the squad. I've got no option. Do we actually have a striker, though? Let's just stick a 4-2-3-1 in, just so that we can have a look at the squad planner and try and work out what our actual squad depth is. So if we have a look from there. So as striker, Adeyemi is the best one that we've got. And then it's just a lot of players who can sort of play that. Emil Smith-Rowe's here. I think I already knew that. But that's another guy who can just slot in there, can play in the wide areas, can play that little bit deeper. We've got lots of players who can do that same kind of thing. Yusufa Moukokko's still here, but again, has not developed at all. Both him and Adeyemi, the great hopes of Borussia Dortmund, it hasn't really turned out the way you would hope it would turn out, really, has it? He's 27 years old now, only a 2.5-star player with 3 stars of potential, only 2 caps for Germany in his career. I mean, he is a fast, good finishing centre forward. I mean, he'll probably score goals, but you got to believe that we can do a little bit better than him. I mean, he's even the squad planner, my assistant manager, thinks he's not as useful at centre forward as Smith-Rowe would be, which I think says a lot about Moukokko. But we've got a huge amount of talent in these attacking midfield areas. I don't think we need to do very much work in those areas at all. A little bit less blessed in the defensive midfield positions. So that's definitely an area for us to focus on. I mean, for sure need a new goalkeeper. And the back four, as a starting 11, the back four looks fine, although Schlotterbeck's going to need replacing sooner rather than later. But there's definitely depth that we can add to that squad. But I think priority number one, a proper striker, and then get some midfielders in as well. And I think we start to look like we've got a pretty decent squad. I mean, the previous manager, and this is a baffling thing for me to say when talking about Football Manager, it looks like the AI's done quite a good job over the, 8 years that this save has been going, of keeping this squad refreshed. There's only 5 players over the age of 30, so it's not your usual squad that you take over at this stage of the save that's full of old men. There's as many players, more players under 23 years old, almost twice as many under 23 as there are over 30. So it's a squad that they've certainly tried to keep reasonably young and Dortmundy, but it just hasn't necessarily worked out for them. And they're certainly not afraid of spending the money that they bring in from player sales. Certainly in recent years, 161 million spent there, 132 out. They're backing their managers, but most recently they have sold quite a few players for quite a lot of money. 83 million pounds worth of players went out last year, and only 49 million pounds worth of replacement. Who is he? On a 30-year-old defender. Whoever was the previous manager, maybe not so great. Their big sale was this guy, who, another winger. What is it with all the wingers? You don't need all these wingers, guys. Come on now. And then this year, again, operating on a transfer profit, not really bringing in any star players, which I think is something of a problem. There's some clauses to sell. There's quite a lot of clauses. So if I run out of money, we can sell some clauses. We don't necessarily need to do that just yet with the amount of money that we've got to spend. But there's another 5, 6, 7 million pounds knocking around there in clauses that we could potentially sell. Who has been the manager here? So this guy, he's been rubbish. Sergei Jekirovic, who in real life is manager of Dynamo, has not done a great job. He's sold a lot of star players and not really replaced them. But I guess the previous guy, I mean, he was sacked. Erik ten Hag was sacked as well after just over a year. But I guess he did quite a good job. during his time at the club, but left. Did he leave or was he sacked? He was sacked as well. So they're a bit sacky. They are a bit sacky. Right. I can't do any transfers now. They're sacking managers despite being quite, I mean, there's been a couple of, you can see the seasons where managers probably got sacked, an 8th place finish there, a 6th place finish there, and with them currently 8th there. So it's the times they don't look like they're going to get in the Champions League, they get sacky. So the board are looking for us to just finish top half. Obviously, we're going to try and deliver Champions League qualification, and they want me to spend all of the money to do it as well. So we need to put together a shopping list for January, which means we need to see how this team plays. So we've got our first game against Freiburg coming up in a couple of days' time. It looks like we've been using a 4-2-3-1 all season as well, which makes sense with the squad of players that we've got. What was the 11 in the last game? This was a Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. If we have a look at the 11, so yeah, they are playing Adeyemi up front, Smith Rowe on the left, Carrière in the middle, and then, I mean, it's what we were talking about. That area there is a big weakness, and Adeyemi doesn't score enough goals to play as a striker, and the goalkeeper's not good enough. So I think we know what the problem with the squad is. Now we just need to paper over those cracks and get ourselves to January. How many matches have we got before January? A couple of 5, one of which is a big Champions League game against Bayern Munich. I didn't know you could play teams from your own nation in the group stage. Apparently you can. And we are by no means guaranteed qualification yet either. So that's kind of a must-win game against Bayern in the Champions League. Oh my word, we've got an away game against Burton as well. That one's probably going to be in a video. Goodness me. Right. I'm going to get myself to this Freiburg game and play it and see if we're any good or not. We're playing Burton in a couple of episodes' time. So it seems we have a lot of staff vacancies, including no assistant manager currently. So I've had to put up a lot of job adverts. So fingers crossed we can start getting in some kind of coaching staff at some point. That would be that would be helpful if we can get some decent coaching staff. But we have put together a team that should be capable of hopefully picking up some points against Freiburg. Freiburg are just above us in the league. I mean, it's a must-win game, and this is the team that we're going to be putting out there. So Lafont in goal, who we are ultimately looking to replace, although he's been here a long time as our starting goalkeeper. Looks like he's been pretty solid the majority of that time as well, so not mega urgent. We've then got Quilidinci Hartman, who's got 31 caps for the Netherlands. He's our left back, who again, these are all players who've been here quite a long time, formerly of Chelsea as well. And then at right back, we've got Matthias Borches, who I think I tried to sign with Burton. Certainly I feel like that's a name I was aware of. Although I can't place where from, but he is a big, strong, fast right back. He is exactly my kind of fullback. I like him a lot already. David Garcia is a 23-year-old Mexican international centre-back who's 6'6". Say it with me, boys and girls. You can't teach that. And I suspect he's going to be quite the threat from set pieces alongside club captain Schlotterbeck. And then in midfield, Eric Martel is a natural ball-winning midfielder who, again, has been here for years, having had a lot of money spent on him at one point, £52 million. He'll partner Gilberto Maui, who's got 1 cap for the Netherlands and is a natural deep-lying playmaker. Another one who is a very expensive signing. This is a very expensively put together Borussia Dortmund squad. Emil Smith-Rowe is going to start as our centre attacking midfielder, 31 years old now, and attracting interest from Al Hilal. He's probably someone we're going to be looking to move on, although he has been a key player and key goal scorer for this Dortmund team for a number of years now. Again, having had a lot of money spent on him, actually from Bayern. So Bayern bought him, barely used him, and sold him off at a discount to Dortmund. Adeyemi's going to play up front. We already know he's potentially a problem, although he might work under a Kev system. And then Moreira on the left, who we've already looked at, and Carrière on the right, who we've already looked at. I think the three we've got there are great. The defence look very good. That little triangle and the goalkeeper is where I'm put. And I mean, make it a big triangle. That big triangle, because you include Adeyemi and then the goalkeeper, are where we're keeping a close eye on things. But we've got a lot of players being scouted. I've asked my director of football for recommendations in every position. We're also scouting basically the entire Burton squad as well to see how they line up against some of the players that we've got here. I mean, Homo, for example, I'm already thinking he's young, he's a defensive midfielder at position we want to strengthen. He's German, which is another one of the club vision things. So he's someone who we're probably going to be looking to bring in January. If he scouts well, we need to make sure that 4 stars at Burton is the same as 4 stars at Dortmund, and that's what the scouting is for. But let's sort out a team talk. I hate having to think for myself with my team talks. I need an assistant manager as quickly as possible. There you go. We're the favourites. I motivated that one guy. I am so good at man management. Oh, I forgot how much fun the Bundesliga is because it's licensed. So we have the officially licensed graphics and things, which always makes things a little bit more fun. If you're wondering which ones we are, boys and girls, we're the yellow ones. As you can see, I already have my shiny new Borussia Dortmund kit there. I've actually got the shiny new away kit behind it. Reason for that, they didn't have the home kit in my size, but they did have the away kit. So when I go and see a Dortmund game, which of course I will be doing, I can wear the away kit because it'll actually fit over my curvaceous body. We've already scored a goal though. Martel bursting out of midfield. This isn't necessarily the route to goal that I was expecting. He's done good work there, played the little 1-2 with Adeyemi. Maybe that's what Adeyemi offers. And it's a lovely finish. And inside 5 minutes, the new era here at Borussia Dortmund is underway. And if things stay as they are, that propels us back up into the European qualification spots and would leave us just 4 points behind Bayern Munich as we start staring down potential Champions League qualification. I think in reality, especially with 200 million to spend in January, as long as I don't completely blow it on nonsense or ruin the team cohesion, you've got to be thinking in terms of Champions League qualification this season. I think no matter what the board want, I am a Champions League manager now. I would be disappointed. We were in the Champions League with Burton. We're in the Champions League this year here at Dortmund. It would be disappointing not to be in the Champions League next year. I think it's kind of essential that we get ourselves into the Champions League. The referee is consulting the VAR here. Adeyemi's got the ball in the back of the net and he's looked lively early on and that goal has been given. So let's have a look at it from the other angle. It's Smith Rowe who plays it forward to Moreira, who's coming off that left-hand side, plays it into Carrière, who squares it to Adeyemi. That's all 4 of our attack combining and trying to demonstrate that none of them need replacing. I'm still going to need convincing, although I imagine there'll be some real life Dortmund fans down in the comments to this video telling me that with Mikoko and Adeyemi at the club, we're good for strikers. So, I mean, they've basically got a month to prove it. I'm not going to go out there and throw all this money away before the window opens in January. So we've got 5 matches for either or both of them to prove that they deserve to be here. And Adeyemi has had a very bright start with trying to achieve that. So maybe he'll end up being the striker solution, although I think he's 29, isn't he? So even if he is the for now solution, he's not going to be the long-term solution at 29 years old. That's basically time to draw your pension in a Kev team, as we all know. But I mean, he's had a good game. So he's been, Carrière aside, best player on the pitch. And I think there's going to be a lot of Carrière aside that we do here because he is head and shoulders above everyone else that we've got upon first inspection. We've got a corner here. It's going to be Hartmann. Remember, we've got Garcia, who's 6'6". There he is trying to get on the end of the second ball from the corner, but he is going to be a threat from these set pieces. All eyes on him when those corners come in because I'm expecting him to start picking up some goals, especially once we get a little bit deeper into doing our set piece training. We've only just set our set piece instructions up, so it'll take a little bit of coaching before he starts being really threatening with them. But the size of him, you would expect him to be in double figures for goals in a team playing set pieces my way. Right. Tell him don't be complacent. That's the old-fashioned one that you have to do. When you're 2-0 up, you have to tell him not to be complacent or words to that effect, don't you? See, I remember the days before getting your assistant manager to do team talks. I just don't enjoy having to do it because it's one of those things in Football Manager that is just so by the numbers. There are right answers and wrong answers to do. There's no nuance to it. Rather than me reading through and trying to remember what's the right answer for each scenario, I'm much happier just having my assistant manager tell me which one to click, and they're always right. Almost always right. Sometimes they get it wrong, but it's the price I'm willing to pay for efficiency. Smith Rowe then on the right-hand side cuts it back to Martel, and now Maui. Is Maui the guy The Rock played in that Disney film? I mean, we might have to start doing a song here. Carrier from Ray. You're probably going to tell me that's not how you say his name. Don't care. I'm gonna get dancing tattoos as a tribute if that guy ends up any good. Anyone who's not got kids or is not a kid themselves is now wondering what on earth I'm talking about. Look, it's a good film. Moana? I think, look at him pretending he doesn't know exactly what it's called. Pretending he doesn't know the words to the songs. I think it's called Moana. Go watch it. That's your homework. If you haven't seen it before tomorrow's video, go watch that. Then you'll know what I'm talking about when I make Maui references. And then, I mean, I'm going to sign a player to replace him tomorrow. We've already identified that's a position we want to strengthen. And Adeyemi is in again. And I tell you what, I am not usually that desperate to sort out face packs. However, with the lovely Bundesliga licensing, putting the player faces on screen every time they score, it's all right when they're real players like Adeyemi is. You get to see his real face, but we don't really want to see new gen faces. Am I going to have to go and get a proper face pack? Is the one Zealand did still the good one? Is that still a thing on FM24? We might have to look into that because some of these new gens, it's going to upset me seeing their faces pop up in this beautiful licensed Bundesliga thing. And then you just see a guy who looks like he's been drawn with a crayon that's been held in someone's fist in that manner. They're not good, are they? Right, let's not concede now. We're comfortably winning 3-0 away from home. The start of the new era is here, and we want to make sure that we start it in style. Goals at one end, clean sheet at the other. That's the order of business for today. Talking of the order of business, I'm sure there's going to be some of you down in the comments sections who are going to be smarty pantses asking why I've gone from a black and yellow tie at Burton to just a yellow tie. Now I'm managing the black and yellow because that one that I was wearing before was the official Burton Albion club tie. And this is the yellow one that I bought when I first got the Burton job before the club tie came. I might end up getting a proper black and white one. I couldn't find a Dortmund one. As you can see, I've got the kits. I've got the pin for my lapel. I can't find a club tie anywhere. It's almost as if it's not a thing in Germany. If I manage to find one, then I'll obviously buy it. If not, then we might just get a black and yellow tie. Right, we're bringing this guy on, Franco Gonzalez, to play in there. We've also got Haluk Özil, who is a winger. So we'll play him as a winger. We've made 4 changes there, so we've got 4 very tired boys. What have I just done? Did I cancel those substitutions? No, I didn't. Something weird happened on the screen there. I think what I am going to do is offer a little bit of praise. These are players who are going to be a little bit downhearted by the start of the season that they've had. So let's say, look, you know what? You're 3-0 up against a team who started the day higher than you in the league. We're moving up into the European qualification spots. This is our first grand day out together, and you're doing very well. So there you go. Have some praise. Don't get too used to it. I'll forget to do it almost every game from now on. And in fact, I now retract it because you've lost your clean sheet bonuses. And we've got money to burn right now, so we'd rather pay the bonuses. I don't want to see the replay because it upsets me that we've conceded the goal. Let's not let them back into the team now we've made 4 substitutions, because I'm a little bit nervy that we don't have a huge amount of strength in depth. And now we've got a lot of players tired again. Maybe gegenpressing when we're struggling might not be the ideal long-term solution with a squad this small. We'll see. Can you play as the playmaker? I mean, you sort of can. Let's swap you 2 over. And I think it's 5. I assume it's 5 substitutions in the Bundesliga. Let me just check. It is 5 substitutions. So we've got a lot of tired legs on the pitch now. I know I could drop the intensity of the pressing, but I ain't gonna start fiddling now. I don't even speak the language here in Germany, despite my C in GCSE German. I'm not going to start fiddling. Do what we're good at. We got all those promotions with Burton. We won the Europa League with Burton. Doing things this way. We're going to keep doing them this way. That was very good. Well done, boys. But we need to just keep doing it now because the tough matches keep on coming. Union Berlin, Bayern Munich, Augsburg and Hoffenheim before the transfer window opens. I think they're all reasonably difficult games. I guess those 2 should be winnable. I mean, to be fair, so should Union Berlin. I think that was a jolly good start, wasn't it? Things are looking good. More of that, please. Oh, look, he's been here a day and we're sending somebody on holiday. This guy, when you come back from your holiday, have a new face. I know that might sound like a weird thing to say to you, Julian. You are going to need a new face. So I can't even send him on holiday. Why can't I send him on holiday? Fine, I'll rest him from training then for a week. It'll be fine. If you enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.